I think the first thing is to acknowledge, like you said, that customers are excited about this whole digitalization that's happening, and cloud is going to be one of the key enablers in that process. I think while that excitement is good for the business, but at the same time, clients need to understand that they should, when they are looking to buy cloud solutions, they are actually buying cloud solutions. The reason I say that is because a lot of the times we see managed services contracts being sold as cloud. And while that may offer some flexibility from a cloud perspective to the clients, but that's not a true cloud. So they need to understand why they are getting into the cloud and what kind of cloud options they want to consider and what kind of objectives, business objectives they want to address through that process. Need to be very clear on their requirements. So when they go to market, they are trying to understand those capabilities and match those capabilities to their strategic objectives is one of the critical components. Don't get excited by just the cost, because cost is going to be just one factor for you to achieve in those, the final objectives that you are trying to get for your business. I think a lot of the times what we see is the terms or the pricing components that are advertised out there, that $2 per user per month. That gives a lot of excitement to the CFOs or CIOs or the other people who are trying to leverage those opportunities. However, there are a lot of hidden terms and conditions in there which can catch the clients at a later stage. So I think when the SaaS opportunities are emerging, which is the way a lot of businesses are going, and that will be the norm going forward, people need to understand that leveraging SaaS applications, there can be some business process changes that they need to implement. So they need to understand the change management. They need to understand the commercials around the total cost of ownership of that particular platform. They also need to understand that the data integrity or the data migration is also one of the key components. So that down the track, if they want to move away from a specific SaaS solution, then how they are going to get that data and migrate it to another solution. I think there are different things to be careful of depending upon which vendor are you dealing with. Of course, the challenge of a vendor disappearing is less when you are talking about some of the large vendors such as Google, Amazon, and others. Whereas if you are dealing with smaller vendors, and if you're a large client, the chances of them folding up due to any other reason or other risks from a commercial perspective, from operational perspective, can have a significant impact. So you need to understand the dynamics of your business dependency versus the matching of the vendors that you're looking to do. We are not suggesting in any manner that you should not deal with small suppliers. They are innovating a lot of technology platforms, and you should. But at the same time, that evaluation process and understanding how the business continuity will be ensured is the key principle in that place. What you need to be careful on, from a dotted line perspective, again, I think, understand the terms and conditions of the relationship. Look at the total cost of ownership over the life of that particular technology that you are trying to get through. If all the answers are not available, it's okay, because we all know we can't predict 100% into the future. Understand the risk exposure areas and come up with some kind of vendor management methodology that can enable you to have those discussions and contain your risk as you move forward in that space. I don't think there is anything measurable in that space, that we can say that the large vendors are, leading or the small vendors are leading. In terms of the market share, of course, large vendors will continue to lead, because that's where, they will be talking to the larger client bases. They will be implementing across the organization. They do have the back-end systems and processes to enable large organizations. But at the same time, the mid-sized companies which are coming up with innovative solutions are encroaching on the specific needs of the client organizations in a very quicker manner. And that's where the excitement lies, because a lot of those relationships and those technology components are something which will give the client organizations the competitive edge that organizations look for a specific business process, or if they're developing a product or a service that they want to deliver to their end clients. So those are the differentiators, that they will be going for, or accessing innovation through that process. Absolutely. I think, first of all, let me reiterate that the cost is maybe the factor for India, but it is also a significant factor across the world. CIOs have to continue to do more with less. There is a pressure on the governments around the world in terms of how much money they can spend. There's a pressure on the commercial organizations. So cost is a key parameter for most people around the world. Of course, I think from Indian perspective, if we're trying to contain the cost and we look at cloud as one of the key options, absolutely. I think most organizations consider cost as part of the decision-making process. But we have to be careful that we do not get blind in a manner that we let go of some of the other terms and conditions, or the relationship issues, or the technology capabilities which are critical for the business processes that we need to deliver. So when there is an assessment happening from a cloud perspective, I want the clients to understand that dynamics, look at the objectivity of the decision-making process, what business flexibility you're trying to create through this process, what kind of scalability challenges you're addressing, how this is going to enable your business to become a digital business, because those are the key parameters and drivers that you are working towards. Now, when you're doing that, in that process, you are trying to limit your cost exposure, either in terms of your ability to put in CapEx or trying to manage your OpEx. Not all cloud solutions are going to be absolutely cheap. So, be careful of that. I think for client and SMB, depending upon, again, which vendor you are working with, you will need to look at what is the strategic goal that you're trying to achieve. So I think SMBs accessing the cloud platforms of larger vendors, of course, that is giving them an edge of higher level of technology platform that they can access to. They will be integrating their processes, and in many cases maybe enhancing the quality of their processes to deliver better products and services to their customers. I think because for different CIOs, this will mean different things. First of all, on the journey of the cloud and a particular application or a solution that they're trying to deliver into their institution, they will need to understand the key objectives of that. Again, going back to, are you doing it for flexibility, scalability, or you're maturing your organization in that cloud or digitalization space as you carry, that flag within your organization, and cost being one of the measures in there as well. So how do you balance that, and what's available in the market, and how do you match those capabilities together? I think CIOs again need to be aware that cloud is not always that you want a cheaper solution, then you go cloud. That's not the key message, which I'm sure lots of CIOs already acknowledge. But at the same point, cloud can give you the efficiencies and can help you optimize the cost as you move forward in that direction, because that's where the market forces will start playing in. And if you are careful, the way you write the contracts, the terms and conditions that you sign, you are aware of the cost incremental components which can get out of hand, and you structure your business and the usage of those platforms in a manner which can help you optimize the overall value. I think that is something that CIOs need to be aware of, and also educate their teams to ensure that that's how those solutions are procured within the organization.